file handling in Java. So here you can see a number of questions. So we'll discuss one by one. So what is file handling? Then what are the input output operations in Java? Then what is stream? Then what are the file handling methods? Then what are the file operations in Java? So all these things we'll discuss one by one. So first one, what is file handling? That is reading data from or writing data to the file is file handling. Okay, so file is a class, then it's available in java.io. So java.io is a package, Java is a package and IO is a sub package. So this package allows to work with different formats, right? So in any format of file, so you can use it in Java file handling. Procedure is very simple. If you want to use the file class, so the very basic one is you need to create the object for that particular class. So this is the syntax. Here file is the class, then object 1, so we are creating that object 1, then new, again a file keyword, then after that you need to mention that, so what is the file name or where the file is stored along with the file name. So this is how you need to mention the syntax. The next one, what are the input output operations in Java, right? So we'll see one by one. Java input and output is essential concept, right? So consists of elements such as input, output and stream. All these things are there in input output operations or input output methods in Java. So now input is the data that we have to give as an input to the program, right? So data need to be given as an input to the program, that is called input, and same time, so whatever we are getting from the program, that is after execution, so the result will be called as output, right? Again here the stream represents flow of data or sequence of data. So this is very important. Then again you need to remember this, to give input, use the input stream, right? So the stream and input, and if you want to get the output from the program, you need to use the output stream, that is output and stream, right? So this is the combination you need to use it for input output operations in Java, right? And next one, we need to see that what are the ways you can get the input from the console, right, during the command line. So what are the, in how many ways we can get the input from the console, right? So here three ways we can get the input from the console. One is a buffer reader, and second one is the string tokenizer, and third one is a scanner, right? So for this we'll see the example also. Now here system.in, always I think you can see while you are getting the input from the keyboard, I think during the scanner class, right? So at that time you can see this particular one, system.in. So always the system.in represents the keyboard. So from the keyboard you can get the input, right? So next one is, consider the class called input stream reader. This is a class. Then java.io.input stream reader, where this input stream reader will be there. So inside Java package and inside this IO sub package, you can find this particular class input stream reader, right? So from the keyboard, right, so the data, read it from the keyboard and it should be connected to the input stream reader. Now the input stream reader will be connected with data. Then after that, this particular input stream reader translates the data, that is translates bytes to character, right, using the specific encoding. So this bytes to character will happen. After that, this input stream reader reads the data and sends to the buffer reader. So the buffer reader stores the data for temporary, right? This is the connection between input stream reader and buffer reader, right? Then after that, what will happen? So here see that buffer reader is a class, right? So now how you will use the buffer reader inside the program? So this is the syntax. Buffer reader is a class. For that you need to create the object here. After that, new is a keyword and buffer reader is a class. Again you need to connect the input stream reader, right? So new, that is a reference. We are referring the class input stream reader. Within the input stream reader, we need to get the input from the keyboard. So that's why we are mentioning that system.in. So now we need to get the input from the keyboard. So that will be given to the buffer reader. So buffer reader will store the data in a temporary manner, right? Then it will go to the next level, right? So here see the example, int age is equal to buffer object.read, right? So here read. Now string name is equal to buffer object.readLine. So this is how you can read. You can get the input you can use the method, same object you can use it, buffer reader object you can use it, and you can read it and you can read line. So both also possible. So first one shows you that there is you can read the integer, and second one you can read the string. So both are possible, right? So here we'll see the example here. This particular example, so I have given two different variables. One is int age. The age is a variable, and string variable, that is name. So for that, the same one, so whatever we have discussed in the previous slide, so here I am showing that buffer reader, then buffer object I am creating, then buffer reader is a class. After that, I'm insisting that I'm using input stream reader. After that, system.in, so that is from keyboard. So now I'm using that try and catch, because this is the input. If anything goes wrong, then we need to create the exception. So that exception need to be handled. You can see that system.out.ln. So here I'm getting the age. So through the buffer reader object, so with the help of buffer reader object, I'm using the buffer reader class method. That is a read line is a method from buffer reader. So that particular method I'm using. Then so one particular thing is there, that is int is a age is a integer, right? So what we need to do is we need to, because we are reading all the content will be string, that's why we need to do the parse int, right? We need to do the typecasting. So the your string need to be typecast into the integer. So integer, so now age will be, get it as a string, then it will be typecast, then it will be converted into int, then that integer value will be stored in age. So this is the first one. Second one, so we are reading the line, there is a name is a string, directly we are reading the string from the command line. So this is how you will get the age and name, then automatically you can print. So this is how you can use the buffer, that is a buffer reader class, then you can get the input from the command line, right? And next one, string tokenizer. What is the use of string tokenizer? So string tokenizer used to get the multiple input from the console in a single line. So in the previous one, buffer reader, so you can get only one input from one line. So but use of string tokenizer, you can get multiple inputs in a single line. So with the help of comma or space, something like, you can use some special characters to divide the input from one input to another input. So we'll see the example. Buffer reader accepts only one input from the line. So but string tokenizer will accept the number of inputs from the same line. Okay. So now then this is the example, you can see that. So here I'm using the buffer reader, same buffer reader I'm using. Buffer reader, I'm going to use it for read the content from the console, right? Single line, I'm just going to give number of inputs, but with the help of string tokenizer class, I'm going to create another object, that is token object. So with that object, I'm going to get the input, as well as I'm going to divide the input into number of inputs, right? A single input may have multiple inputs. I'm going to divide those inputs into number of inputs, right? So how it will works, you just see the here string tokenizer object I'm creating, that is token object 1 I'm creating, then new string tokenizer, then I'm getting that input as a string. So in input, in that particular string, I'm using comma as a divider. So wherever comma is coming, automatically this string tokenizer will divide, though with the help of comma, it will divide the input into number of tokens. So each token will be considered as a single input. So here I'm going to get the age and name in a single line. With the help of comma, I'm going to divide this name and age from the single line. I'm going to store it in different variable, that is name and age, right? So we'll see this example. Again, this is the another one, scanner class, right? Scanner class already we have discussed, because here you can get number of inputs in different types also possible. You can get the integer, or you can get the float, or you can get the character, or you can get the string. All things are possible. So where tokenizer is not doing all these things, right? So every time if you are using a tokenizer, then you need to use the parse, that is you need to do the typecasting, then only you can get the, you can convert into the integer, or then you can convert into a float, or you can convert into long or double, something like. But in scanner class, you can get integer directly, you can get float directly, you can get string directly, you can get long. So like this, there is a possibility, right? So now we'll see that what is stream in Java. So already I have mentioned that stream is a sequence of data, there are two types of streams are available. One is byte stream and second one is a character stream, right? Inputs provided and executed with the byte data, it's called is called file handling process with the byte stream. That is the first one, right? With the byte data, the input is provided and executed with byte data automatically. That is called file handling process with byte stream. But character stream is processing the data with the character. This is the difference between byte stream and the character stream. Operations like file creation or reading or writing, all these things comes under the character stream. Okay. Now you can see it in the screen. These are the methods available in file handling in Java, right? Can read or can write, can create a new file or delete, exist, get name, get absolute path, length, list, make directory. All these methods are available in Java file handling, right? So we'll see one by one examples. We'll see how to create a file or get the file information, then write to a file and read from a file. Okay. Also we'll see that delete a file. Okay. So here I'm going to show you the example, right? See the example here. This is where I have I need to create a file, right? In this is my path name, user name and documents and workplace. Inside this one, I'm going to create this particular one. So example, I'll just show you the where I have stored here documents. Then I'm just in workspace, right? So this file is there. But what I'm going to do it, I'm going to delete it, right? So I'm going to delete it, right? Okay, delete it, right? Now after this, here I need to create this file. That's why I'm using the class name file. Then after that, I'm creating the object. With that object, I'm going to create this particular file, new 897.txt, right? So here, if file object dot create new file. So with this is the method. I'm going to use this method to create the file. Okay, so file object and the method. So if the file operates, that is if the new file is created, what I'm going to do it, I'm going to get the name and the file is created, that's all. But if while creating the file, if any exception comes, automatically this catch block will catch the exception and it will fail, right? And same time, what I'm going to do it, I'm going to try to delete the same file. Okay, so I'm going to create the file and also I'm going to delete the file. Okay, so if file object dot delete, it needs to say that the particular file has been deleted. Then if anything goes wrong, then automatically this catch block will say that it will catch the exception and it will delete it, right? Okay, we'll see that how it will be. So here I have imported two things, that is io.file. Otherwise, simply you can go for java.io.store. So you can get all the sub packages, files, everything will come inside this tab. Okay, so now I'm going to execute it. See, now initially the file has been created. After creating the file, now this particular file has been deleted. Okay, now what I'll show you the difference, right? So here, right? Okay, not here, it will come here. Okay, so now see that I'm not deleting the file, but now I'll show you that there is no file here. Okay, now I'm going to create the file. Yes, file is created. Okay, now if you're going there, automatically you can see that the file is created. Now what I'm going to do it, I'm going to delete the file. That's all. So I'm going to now. Initially, I have created the file. After that, I'm going to delete the file now. Okay. So now see that. Yes. Now the file has been deleted. See that particular file is not there. So this is how you can create the file and also you can delete the file. Right. So now next one is, anyway the file is required. So what I'm going to do it. So file is required. So that's why I'm not going to delete the file. I'm going to keep the file. So yes, here I have created the file. You can see that file has been created. The file has been created. And next one is write something into that particular file, right? I'm using the same file. I'm going to write something, that is successfully wrote into the file. I'm just going to two different lines I'm going to write it, hello Java and hello world, that's all. So now here what it will create the file, but already file is created. So what I'm going to do it, and then yes, that's all. Now I'm just going to write something into that file. So initially you can see that nothing is there inside, right? After this one you can see that some difference is there. Yes, successfully wrote into the file. Now you can see that hello Java and hello world. So now something has been written into the file. And same time, if I want to read from that file, right? So same file I'm using, right? Here see that same file. I'm using the scanner class here. With that scanner class, I'm just getting the input, right? Input, that is next line. Whatever there inside the file, I'm going to get it and I'm going to print the input. The same variable will be printed, right? Here, see. So these are the variables I'm getting from the variables, means if I'm getting the word or a line from the particular file. Whatever data is there inside the file, that is coming out. So this is how file creation, file deletion, and file write and file read, all these things, right? So in this video we have discussed what are the methods available, then what are the ways we can get the input from the user, that is from the console. All these things we have discussed, right? Thank you.